So I'm not sure if the AKPF van will be pulling into the Sally Port or not, but oh, it looks like it might be. I haven't documented this process before. There's no meters up here, it's just the kiosk.
Okay. What about down there?
No, down there is for bureaucrats only.
Oh, okay.
The bottom level is.
Alrighty. These are nicer cameras than when I was on We Are Change.
Really?
Well, we actually ended up using an iPhone.
Oh, that's not that good.
No, we're in Central Park.
Do you want to do like a little introduction for Freeman TV Raw? Because I'll upload these like to my Raw channel and just be like, I'm in town visiting, or like just, you know, say who you are and you're visiting Keene.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, we'll get like 2 angles. It'll be great.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My name's Carlos Morales. I moved here for the Free State Project after going and speaking at the Liberty Forum, and I am hanging out, doing God's work, Robin Hooding, and preventing these bureaucrats from taking people's money. Good.
Cool. And this is your first time out today?
Yeah, it's my first time out. It's the first time I've been in Keene. It's funny because after watching things like Free Talk Live, you start to just think that this is kind of home anyway. You know, you think about the cops here and everyone else, especially after watching Victimless Crime Spree and Derek J and everything else that happened. You have kind of a vengeance against the cops that already exist over here. But apparently it's getting better, so that I've heard, as far as the Free State Project is concerned, outside of the Stop Free Keeners, who don't seem like the nicest people possible.
So you're from outside of Keene, yet you've heard about an opposition group within Keene to a local organization.
Yeah. I'm from, I was a spokesperson for the Blue Ridge Liberty Project in Asheville, North Carolina. And then I did a lot of work there regarding child protective services because I'm a former investigator. So now I want to help out people in who are part of the Free State Project who are having issues with CPS or cops and things like that, just because of my own back knowledge in regards to that, and because, you know, I know the subject pretty well, and I want to help out as many people as I can while I'm here. And that's kind of my form of activism, is preventing people from getting their kids kidnapped for being activists and just loving human beings in general.
Do you plan on your work to be a focus on media initiatives, or will it be more behind the scenes?
Most likely more behind the scenes. I mean, it just kind of depends. You know, I'm speaking at Porkfest this year. I have my YouTube show, Truth Over Comfort, where I've talked a lot about child protective services and, you know, talked to different individuals who have discussed, you know, the state ownership of kids, whether that be like Brett Bonnott, School Sucks, or James Corbett, Jeffrey Tucker, Stefan Molyneux, those kind of people, trying to basically root out the issue and figure out how to stop the abuse of children through other means besides the state, and then try to help prevent children from getting abused by the state. And so I guess I'm going to go both ways, you know, whether that be through YouTube or just I answer emails all fucking day from people who are having issues with child protective services, and it's a terrible situation in regards to that. You know, we can all say things are getting better, but when it comes to CPS, things are getting worse. It's getting worse because they're drugging kids, they're removing more kids, and we gotta. It's one of those things that in libertarianism, for some reason, most people aren't talking about it. You know, it's one of those subjects that's just not being hit enough, and I think it's because it's so sensitive for individuals, and they're so worried because CPS does go after activists. But I don't run into a homeschooler, unschooler, or at least rarely, that hasn't had to deal with this domestic terrorist cell in the United States, known as CPS.
So. One of the reasons that CPS is considered more legally dangerous than any other criminal justice organization is because they have special protections over their investigations and special privileges.
So there's a few different things. One is that reporters, supposed like reports that are sent in regarding allegations. Well, the reporters are never known by the alleged perpetrator, which is insane. You know, you have a legal right to know who the person that's alleging a crime. Not only that, Child Protective Services considers an allegation evidence rather than actual evidence. So you're kind of guilty until proven innocent, according to CPS. And in those particular cases, you know, we can use the evidence, I mean, the memory off the memory of someone else. So like, let's say there's like a friend of the family who overheard a year ago that abuse was occurring. Well, based off of that shady memory, we have the power to remove a child from a home. And so once you start recognizing that fact, and you recognize the fact that, you know, you should tell your kids not to talk to CPS investigators, not to talk to anyone, and tell your friends and your community about this fact, that'll already be a huge step up. And then, of course, also never take any drug tests if you don't have to, never admit to prior domestic violence, never admit to abuse at all, never admit to any history of Child Protective Services whenever you talk to these people. Because these people aren't your friends, they're your enemy. They make, you know, $46,000 based off every single child that's removed, or at least the system makes that much money. That's how much money's thrown at them. So
you've pointed out there's a profit system that's built into. It's almost like a bounty that's placed on cases that perhaps perversely incentivizes individuals to find instances of abuse where there aren't, or to target easy targets such as drug users.
Yeah, 85% of all removals are for something called negligence. But negligence can be completely meaningless. So it can be like, I used marijuana when I was in college. Well, we could consider that evidence. Or my husband used to beat me, but my husband's been outside the home for 2 years. Well, that could be considered negligence. So not only are the investigators paid by this child kidnapping ring, but so are the family court attorneys. Prosecutors, so are the judges in these particular cases. Everyone is getting paid off by a system which is ruining families. And again, that $4 to $6 grand is not a fake thing. I mean, there was a report in Kansas whenever they showed that there was huge financial incentive on all these different bits. So, you know, everyone is incentivized to destroy these kids' lives, and it gets even shakier whenever you deal with foster homes, because foster homes are given more money for every single child, of course, that they get in, but also for every single mental diagnosis a child has. So if you're a kid and you're having mental issues, maybe you're mad at your foster home because they're, you know, 7-8 times more likely to be abused in a foster home than normal house, more likely to be sexually abused, so the kid might be a little messed up. So according to the state health doc, you know, they got like ADHD, ODD, bipolar disorder, and a host of other diseases, supposedly, that they drug the shit out of these kids for. These kids are on, you know, all these kids are zombified on a ridiculous amount of drugs, and the foster homes are giving more money for every single time they do that. So there's really a system here of a war on children that is totally legitimate. Well, not legitimate, but I mean, it really is happening. And, you know, then they double down with public education, 15,000 hours of forced indoctrination, you know. So there's a real doubling down on abuse here. And the most interesting thing is that libertarians, we're supposed to answer the question of how we're going to deal with child abuse. Yet, the state's abusing kids all the time. Why don't we start off by just getting rid of the fucking agencies which promote child abuse? Like public schools, like these foster home systems that are incentivized to destroy kids, like Child Protective Services, which is incentivized to kidnap kids, and where these family court attorneys and these judges who are paid for by the exact same system that creates this kind of corruption. Maybe if we fucking started with that, then we could start about remedying the issue of child abuse. But if you're ignoring the fucking gun in the room, you're never going to move forward at all.
Do you expect there to be many significant differences in structure and approach to reforming the system here in New Hampshire as opposed to where the system was that you worked?
I have no idea. I have no idea if any reform is actually going to occur. I honestly, you know, Arizona said they got rid of Child Protective Services supposedly, and what they actually did was they just changed the fucking acronym. So basically it's still CPS. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't really believe in reform. I believe in defense and knowing what you can and cannot do in regards to CPS. I'm not going to go into any trials. I'm not going to sue the state. I'll leave that to other people who feel that their time is better, more merited for that, and have a, good luck. I'm not going to diss them or say anything in regards to them, but political activism for me has not been beneficial. It's not been a good use of my time, and I think other people may be able to benefit from it. But at this point in my life, I'm just trying to help as many people as I can, and I'm not going to do that by losing in a bunch of court cases.
Well, thanks for sharing your time, and I hope you have fun out here Robin Hooding.
Absolutely.